The title of this podcast is Consistency is the Result of Having a Solid Base. I am a person who really enjoys watching sports. And even more than watching sports, I love learning about some of the habits that really exceptional athletes have that really result in them being consistent at their craft, playing at a high level. And the same thing goes with all of life. The consistency that they have is really based on their habits, their base, their solid base. Most recently, I was watching a video of Steph Curry, and he was teaching people how to shoot, the basketball really, really well. And the first thing he talked about was your setup of where he likes to feel the ball in his hands and how his fingers need to be along the groove of the basketball. He finds that he's got really accustomed to finding it very quickly when he shoots, and he's arguably the best shooter that the National Basketball Association has ever seen, the professional ranks. And he says he's not worried he doesn't focus on shooting from distance, from out at the three-point line or even half court. What he does is he starts very close to the basket and just gets really used to just feeling the ball spin off his fingers. Like his fingers, the ball is spinning off of that. And he just does that and he gets really good at making it close at the basket. And then he keeps taking a step back until he's perfected at that distance and so forth and so on until before you know it, he's at half court, but he's shooting the exact same shot that he shot when he's close to the basket. In pickleball, when I watch some of the coaches that I've had over the years, the ones who really help me develop my game are the ones who really focus on developing that solid base, the great footwork, how the paddle is held. And these folks focus on starting very close to the net with perfecting the shots there because they translate the further and further you get back on the court. When I think about my friends in healthcare at Mayo Clinic, the ones who are consistently the embodiment of excellence clinically, as well as their leadership, is they have a solid base. I can only imagine how many reps my friend John Acuna has had at stitching, and so he does it now almost in his sleep, but he developed a really, really solid base that transfers and translates over to the more technical parts of cardiothoracic surgery that he's now employing with lung transplants and other very complex surgeries. I think about the people in my life who have this great ability that when there's conflict, they're able to calm or to cool the temperature that's in the room. And the reason that they're able to do that so effectively, I think, is because they do it with themselves first. They develop a solid base on being able to control their own emotions. And in doing so, they're able to have a positive effect on the emotions of others, even when the topics are ones that often lead to people being pretty heated in their communication with each other. So the solid base has really served me well in my own personal life in terms of my physical well-being. I have a solid base of 8 hours of sleep a night, of never missing a workout under any circumstances. And if that means I have to get up earlier, I get up earlier to do it. And that has really, really paid off of having this consistent base. When I think about my friends who are exceptional in their personal relationships, they are really good with themselves, that they are really good with giving themselves grace, compassion, also holding themselves accountable. And so when they interact with their significant other or their family and children or friends, or even community and strangers or people they don't even know, they can do so with an open heart because they practice keeping an open heart, you know, with themselves. And so I encourage everyone to really consider looking at your base. How solid is it? If you're a person that when, let's say you have some nutritional goals and you're easily tempted when you go out to restaurants, then perhaps your base at home isn't as solid, or when you or when you go to some restaurants, work on extending your base to include restaurants and any other places if it's your goal to eat in a way that supports a healthy lifespan and a really robust health span, if that is your goal. And so I encourage everyone to really look at their base and is it solid in all the areas that are important to you? Your professional life, obviously, but also your relationships and how you relate as a human being, with the planet. Is your compassion, is it solid? Or is it conditional to one group of people that you like? Then that's not a solid base. You want to have compassion and empathy and open heart to everyone. And there's obviously a lot of opportunities to practice that. So consistency of being calm, of being loving, of being open-hearted, and being kind is something that is a result of having a solid base. People, I'll end with this. People often say, "Man, Keith, you know, when you interact with other people, you do so in a way that makes them feel, that you're present." And a lot of it is because I practice being present with everything that I do. If I'm writing an email, I'm being present, and I lead with a greeting first because that helps with the human to human connection, which I don't want to lose sight of as I'm trying to work on a task or something. I don't want the task to be what's primary. I want the human being at the center of it, and I can talk about that in another podcast about really being thoughtful in your communications. So develop a solid base in the areas of your life that matter to you, and you will see consistent results.